A creature races across Lake Champlain. Something enormous glides toward a group of canoes on Loch Ness, and a 1936 film supposedly showing Nessie disappears for 65 years before mysteriously resurfacing. These are more of the strangest lake monster sightings ever caught on camera. The creature in this footage is often referred to as the Trident Trail sea monster. The footage comes out of Florida. Now, what on earth is this thing? I don't know, but it's some pretty incredible footage. A long serpentine creature thrashing and splashing near the surface of the water. It has a fish-like tail and its body breaches the water in this kind of hump-like formation. What do you think's going on here? Is this an actual undiscovered creature, a misidentified animal, maybe injured? Could it be more than one animal thrashing around? Share your thoughts down below. This footage comes out of Port Henry, New York, along the shores of Lake Champlain. On the evening of June 11th, Thomas Fava, retired town supervisor, was looking out over the water from a hill when he spotted something strange moving through the lake. From his elevated vantage point, he managed to pull out his cell phone and capture two separate videos of the creature. The footage caught the attention of longtime Champ researcher Katie Elizabeth, who pointed out that Thomas's high vantage point gave a much clearer view of the water than typical shore-level sightings. And after examining the clips, Elizabeth pointed out the creature's size and movement didn't match typical lake wildlife, saying, quote, "A serpentine animal appears to be much larger than an otter or sturgeon." A second video shows the creature moving much faster than these animals known to inhabit the lake. This drone footage was captured over Loch Ness in 2021. A British outdoorsman named Richard Maver was in the middle of a 4-day, 62-mile charity canoe trip for the Alzheimer's Society when he sent a drone up to film his group pulling their canoes onto the shore for the night. He uploaded the landscape footage to his YouTube channel and thought nothing of it. About a week later, though, a viewer named Steve Bates left a comment pointing out that the ripples near the water's edge looked an awful lot like Nessie. When Maver went back to check the video, he saw it right away, a long, distinct shape lurking just beneath the surface, moving directly toward their beached canoes. Measuring the figure against their 14-foot canoes, the creature appeared to be nearly double their length. Maver rewatched the clip repeatedly to make sure it wasn't just floating garbage or a log, but he was completely baffled. Pointed out that unlike the ocean coast, inland lakes don't get massive tidal debris washing through, and while some small things wash up occasionally, nothing really approaches that size. Even though Maver was a self-proclaimed skeptic, he really had no interest in claiming he'd found the Loch Ness monster. The size and shape of the thing left him pretty stumped, and he admitted that after rewatching it, there was definitely something strange going on in the water. This next case goes back to April 1960. Features some of the most famous Loch Ness footage ever recorded. It was shot by Timothy Dinsdale, a British engineer who got super into cryptozoology and decided to spend 6 days camping out by the loch on a solo hunt. And on his last day, he spotted a dark shape cruising across the water and managed to catch it on film. He was totally convinced that he just filmed Nessie. So the very next morning, he took a little dinghy out to record the exact same path, hoping to prove that whatever he saw was way bigger and faster than a normal boat. Well, the footage blew up everywhere after the Daily Mail ran the story and the BBC aired the video. It kicked off a huge wave of Nessie mania, got Dinsdale a book deal, and even led to a whole dedicated monster hunting organization getting set up in 1962. Things got a bigger push in 1966. When a military photo analysis team took a look at the reel and officially stated the object was, quote, probably animate. This creature was caught on camera in South Carolina. A guy named Rain McKinney was walking along a bridge when he noticed something weird moving through the water below. He pulled out his phone, started recording a creature that didn't move like any normal fish. It had a strange flappy shape with wing-like fins and what looked like a beak on one end. He sent the video over to the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources, but even their team wasn't sure what the creature was, and from there, the clip made its way to marine researchers in Charleston, and again, nobody could give a definite ID. Some people guessed it was a squid. Others figured it might be a sea slug or sea hare. The snag with that theory is that those species are usually native to much warmer waters further south, like Florida, so it'd be a bizarre sight that far north up the coast. This next case brings us to British Columbia, Canada, looking at a photo that some think might actually show Ogopogo. Back on October 15th, 2022, Dale Hanchar, his wife Colleen, and their friend Myrna Germaine Brown took a sailboat out on Okanagan Lake. Colleen's mom had passed away just the day before, so they were out on the water just trying to clear their heads, get a break. They were pretty much the only boat out there on this massive lake, which drops down over 700 feet deep, mind you. While they were out in the middle of nowhere, they noticed two weird horns sticking out of the water. At first, they figured it was just a floating log, maybe some seaweed, but as they drifted up to it, the thing didn't move with the waves at all, and it just stayed completely still. Colleen leaned over the front of the boat to grab a picture from about 12 feet away and said she could see the faint outline of a body or neck under the dark water. The horns were a couple feet apart, sticking up a few inches, and she said they looked like actual skin rather than wood. Skeptics tried to claim it was an upside-down duck, which feels like a massive stretch, or maybe a dragon head sculpture from a nearby boat club, but those boats don't even have heads like that on them. Is it a hoax? There's always a possibility of that, but doing a fake monster prank the day after your mom passes away seems like a pretty weird thing to spend your time on. Could this be an actual photo of Ogopogo, the legendary lake monster passed down in stories and reports for centuries? On September 22nd, 1936, Glasgow filmmaker Malcolm Irvine spent weeks filming around Loch Ness, determined to capture the creature that he claimed to have seen 3 years earlier. His earlier attempt had ended with his camera jam, but this time he was filming with a 16mm camera equipped with a long lens. The resulting footage lasted less than a minute and appeared to show a dark object moving across the surface of the loch, reportedly around 30 feet long, creating ripples as it moved. Irvine and another witness, Lane McMillan, described seeing what appeared to be a head and neck, followed by two humps and something thrashing behind them like a tail. The really strange part came afterward. The film was shown publicly as evidence of the Loch Ness monster, but after Irvine's film company went bankrupt, the footage basically vanished. For decades, researchers could only find still images. But in 2001, Scottish Screen Archive curator Janet McBain discovered the original 16mm reel sitting inside an old film can, along with other material inherited from the former Scottish Film Council. So the footage was finally broadcast again in 2001, 65 years after it had been filmed. Now, I don't care what anyone says, this is a sea serpent. The video was captured in the Santa Maria River down in Brazil. Looking at the footage, you could see why people might compare this to a mythical monster based on how ridiculously thick and long its body is. The reason it's got that massive swollen section though, right in the middle, is almost certainly because it had just eaten and was still in the middle of digesting a heavy meal. But I mean, damn, the thing is prehistoric looking. At one point in the video, one of the guys actually grabs the snake by its tail and tries to drag it out of the river, which is just awful to watch. He ended up getting slapped with a pretty hefty fine from environmental authorities for harassing the animal, quite right. You never see the snake's head in the clip, but judging by the length and thickness of what's on camera, that thing is an absolute monster. And that has been the video. I'll catch you, yes, you specifically, in the next one.